My name is Arden Vale, 38 years old. The afternoon light in Jackson fell through the restaurant's windows like honey, making even the scuffed tiles look kind. The private room I'd reserved glowed with candles, soft soul music drifting through the air. Platters of fried catfish steamed beside bowls of collard greens, and cornbread split open like warm books. Owen stood on a chair, tying the last balloon. "You sure you need this many?" he teased. "If my aunt starts a coup, we'll have air support," I said, smiling, though my stomach fluttered. Tonight was supposed to fix things. Dad, Mom, my brother, my aunt, all at one table, maybe even laughing for once. 6 apartment buildings, 25 units, 3 rented to family at prices that made my accountant groan. I'd called it grace. They'd treated it like an entitlement program. My phone buzzed. Dad's name. Don't expect anyone to show. 5 words, sharp and final. The room tilted. Candles, plates, balloons, all suddenly absurd. I stared at the screen, waiting for a joke, an explanation. Nothing. Owen climbed down, frowning. "What's wrong?" "Probably running late," I murmured, voice tight. He didn't buy it, but squeezed my hand instead. I opened social media and felt my chest cave in. There they were, Dad, Mom, my brother, my aunt, laughing beside a Miami pool. The caption read, "Finally together." Comments fluttered below. "Family first. Looks amazing." No one mentioned whose birthday it was. No one mentioned me at all. The first sting was humiliation. The second was clarity. Owen's voice cut through the hum. "Arden? They're in Miami," I said. "All of them. On my birthday." He blinked, steady as ever, then nodded toward the table. "Then we eat." So we did. 2 plates, 10 empty chairs. The waiter hovered. I waved him off. Owen tore a piece of cornbread in half and slid it onto my plate. "Balloons judging us," he said, trying to make me laugh. I almost did. Between bites, the math started forming. Market rate rent, $2,000. 30-day notice. No exceptions. My brother's office space, sell. Cash offer only. They'd wanted to erase me. I'd make sure they remembered the ground they stood on had my name on it. Owen clinked his glass against mine. "To your birthday." "Don't," I whispered, but we clinked anyway. The sound was small and clean, like a key turning. I looked at him, the man they mocked as a grease monkey, the one who'd rebuilt more than engines for me. "They think I'll beg to be let back in," I said. "What do you want?" I let the question hang. "To stop being useful, to be respected." He nodded once, a mechanic's promise. We start there. When the waiter boxed the leftovers, I tipped too much out of habit and felt the habit crack. Outside, the August air was thick and humming with honeysuckle. Owen unlocked the truck, holding the door like a vow. Before I got in, I checked my phone again. The Miami photo still sat on top of my feed, bright as a billboard. "They made their choice," I said. The calm in my voice startled me. "Now I'll make mine." He didn't ask what that meant. He knew. As we drove, the city blurred into amber streetlights. My reflection in the window looked sharper, older. Not broken, refined. My grandmother's voice drifted from memory. "You teach people how to treat you, baby." I'd spent years teaching them that my kindness had no price. Time to rewrite the lesson. "They wanted a picture without me," I said. "Fine, I'll give them a life without me." A balloon escaped from the truck bed, rising until it vanished into the dark. My phone buzzed again, an automated rent reminder pinging right on schedule. I smiled, small but real. "Let's go home," I said. "I've got work to do." The next morning, I woke up before the alarm, the house still dim except for the soft blue glow of my laptop screen. The air smelled like coffee and quiet resolve. Owen was already gone, early shift at the shop, but he'd left a note on the counter. "Don't burn the world before breakfast." Too late for that. By 7 a.m., I was logged into the property management portal, fingers steady over the keyboard. For years, I'd let guilt guide my math. Discounted rent for family, late fees forgiven, loans I never got back. It had started as generosity, but somewhere along the way, it turned into obedience. Click. Apartment A. Tenant. John and Laura Vale, my parents. Current rent, $950. Market rate, $2,000. Click. Apartment B. Tenant. Daniel Vale, my brother. Current rent, $500 for a space worth quadruple. Click. Apartment C. Tenant. Margaret Vale, my aunt, the self-proclaimed family glue, current rent $800. I changed all three numbers, $2,000 each, 30 days notice, no exceptions, no grace periods. I uploaded the new lease agreements and hit send notifications. For years, they'd taken advantage of me under the banner of family. Today, they'd learned family wasn't a free subscription. The emails whooshed out into the world, neat and impersonal. I sat back and waited for the aftershock. It didn't take long. By noon, my phone started buzzing. Mom first. Honey, is this a mistake? Call me. Then my brother. You can't do this. That's my business space. Aunt Margaret, ever dramatic. Are you trying to destroy us? I stared at the messages until they blurred, then placed the phone face down on the table. I wasn't destroying anything. I was ending a pattern. To steady myself, I opened a spreadsheet titled Inheritance, Grandma Lila. She'd left me a small fund years ago, the seed money that became my first duplex, my first real win. I'd grown that into 6 buildings, a steady life, a sense of purpose. My father liked to call it our family empire, like he'd built it brick by brick instead of criticizing every decision I made. The betrayal hurt, yes, but it also clarified. The Miami photo hadn't been a slip. It was a message. We don't need you. Now they'd get to prove it. Around 2 p.m., I drove to my office downtown, a converted bungalow with peeling paint and a stubborn charm. I called my agent, Tara. List the strip mall on Jefferson, I said. All 5 units. Find a cash buyer fast. She whistled. Even your brother's space? Especially my brother's space. Silence stretched on the line. You sure about this, Arden? Completely. By 3 p.m., she had a developer interested, 20% over asking. I signed the preliminary paperwork electronically, my cursor gliding without hesitation. The satisfaction wasn't sweet. It was sterile, necessary, like cauterizing a wound. By evening, the group chat I'd muted months ago lit up with missed calls. Dad's name kept flashing like a warning light. I didn't answer. When his text finally came, it was short and cold. This is low, even for you. I almost laughed. For me? After everything I'd covered, mortgage payments, repairs, my brother's ridiculous consulting firm with its unpaid taxes, if this was low, I wondered what he'd call their Miami stunt. Owen came home grease-streaked and smiling, carrying a takeout bag. You've got that look, he said, setting it down. What did you do? I shrugged, balanced the books. He chuckled softly. Finally? Finally. We ate on the couch, the scent of fried chicken filling the small space. My phone buzzed again, then again, until I turned it off. Owen watched me quietly, then said, You look lighter. Because I'm done pretending. Good, he said. They had it coming. After dinner, I sat at my desk and opened a new document titled Vale Family Adjustment Plan. The name made me smirk. Beneath it, I typed out my new rule, no more rescue missions. Every time I'd stepped in to help, when my dad's rental unit flooded because he ignored maintenance, when my brother overdrafted his business account, when my mom called crying about credit cards, I'd told myself it was what a daughter did, but a daughter can't be a lifeboat forever. By 9 p.m., I checked my email again. Tara had forwarded the developer's formal offer for the strip mall, signatures pending. I clicked accept. Outside, thunder murmured somewhere over Jackson, low and patient. I leaned back, letting it roll through the quiet house. My phone stayed silent on the counter, face down. The candles I'd brought home from the restaurant still sat unlit by the window, faint ghosts of the night before. I realized something then. Anger fades, but boundaries hold. Tomorrow, they'd wake up to the new reality. Market rent due, commercial property sold, their access to easy money gone. They'd call me selfish, cruel, ungrateful. They'd be right about one thing. I was ungrateful. I no longer thanked people for using me. I closed the laptop, the glow fading to black, and whispered to the empty room, You wanted freedom. Here it is. Outside, the first drops of rain hit the glass. I didn't flinch. 3 days passed before they showed up. I heard the knock before I saw their faces through the frosted glass. 2 silhouettes, sharp and familiar. My father's stance, arms crossed, jaw locked. My mother beside him, smaller, rehearsed sadness in every angle of her shoulders. I let them knock twice more before I opened the door. Arden, my father said, already halfway to angry. We need to talk. I leaned against the frame, arms folded. About the weather or the rent? He scowled. This isn't funny. Raising our rent? Selling Daniel's office? You've gone too far. My mother's voice slipped in soft, trembling. Sweetheart, We just don't understand why you're doing this. We're family. I laughed once, quiet and sharp. Funny, that word only comes up when you need something. They blinked. The silence between us was brittle. My father's eyes scanned the living room behind me. Neat, calm, Owen's jacket slung over a chair. "You've changed," he said, like it was an accusation. "I grew up," I said. "You should try it." His jaw clenched. "You think you can punish us because we didn't show up to your dinner? It wasn't even about that." "It was about what then?" I cut in. Because from where I'm standing, it looked like my family took a group vacation and decided the only person paying their bills didn't deserve an invitation. My mother flinched. "You're twisting this." "No," I said. "I'm untwisting it." My father stepped closer, lowering his voice like we were in one of those family meetings where he dictated forgiveness like a sermon. "We built you, Arden. All those properties, your company, that started with us. You wouldn't have what you have without this family." The heat rose in my throat. "What I have," I said evenly, "came from Grandma Lila's inheritance. Not you, not your advice, certainly not your approval." He went red. "Don't talk to me like that." "Then don't lie to me," I shot back. "You've been living in my apartments for half price, pretending it's your generosity that keeps the lights on. Daniel's been running his fake business out of my property for years. You wanted to treat me like a piggy bank. I closed the vault." My mother's eyes glistened. "You sound cruel." "I sound tired." Behind them, the rain started again. Thin, steady lines falling through the yard like punctuation marks. For a second, I thought that would end it. Then my phone buzzed on the table behind me. A bank alert. Credit inquiry approved, $50,000 business loan application. My heart froze. I clicked into the details. Applicant. Daniel Vale. Co-signed by Arden Vale. My name. My credit. My properties listed as collateral. When I looked up, my parents were watching me too closely. "Did you know about this?" I asked, voice low. They exchanged a look, a small guilty flash between them. My mother spoke first. "He's desperate, Arden. He didn't mean..." "Didn't mean to what? Commit fraud?" "Don't overreact," my father snapped. I stared at him, stunned. "He tried to steal from me, and you're calling me dramatic?" He threw his hands up. "He's your brother. He needs help." I grabbed my phone, dialing the bank right there in front of them. "Yes," I said into the receiver. "I'd like to report a fraudulent application using my credit and properties. The name is Daniel Vale." My father's voice rose. "You're blowing this out of proportion." I turned to him, shaking now, but my voice was steady. "No, I'm drawing the line you never respected." The call ended. The loan was canceled. My credit locked. My mother was crying now, real tears streaking her face. "We just wanted to keep the family together," she said, reaching for me. I stepped back. "You wanted to keep control," I said. "There's a difference." For a moment, no one spoke. The rain was louder now, tapping against the window like applause. Finally, my father said, "You'll regret this. Family doesn't turn on family." "Neither does family steal identities," I said. "You should go." They didn't move, so I pointed at the door. "Now." He muttered something under his breath, grabbed his coat, and walked out first. My mother followed, pausing at the porch. "You're breaking us apart," she whispered. "You broke it the minute you clicked apply," I said, and shut the door. The lock clicked into place. I stood there for a moment, my pulse hammering. The quiet that followed wasn't peace. It was aftermath. An hour later, Owen came home from the shop. One look at my face, and he dropped his keys. "What happened?" "They tried to take a loan in my name," I said. He blinked. "Your family?" I nodded. "My brother." He swore softly under his breath, then pulled me into a hug. "You okay?" "Not yet," I said, "but I'm close." We sat at the kitchen table. The rain was easing, the sky a bruised gray. I showed him the messages, the loan alert, everything. "They think you'll cave," he said. "I know." "Will you?" I looked at him, a tired half-smile tugging at my mouth. "No. This time they're going to learn what it costs to cross me." He nodded, his thumb brushing my hand. "Then make them pay the full price." I didn't sleep much that night. My phone buzzed twice more. Text from my brother I didn't read. A voicemail I deleted without listening. I sat in the dark by the window, the hum of the city soft beyond the rain, and whispered to no one. They think this was about rent. They're wrong. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was survival. The next morning felt like the aftermath of a storm. Quiet, but uneasy. I'd barely slept. My phone sat face down on the counter, a mute witness to a dozen unread messages. The house smelled like rain-soaked wood and cold coffee, the kind of scent that made silence feel heavier. I was halfway through deleting emails when a new one appeared in bold. Subject, urgent, your brother. Sender, Nathan Carter. Nathan was more than a friend. He'd been my first real estate mentor, the person who'd taught me how to read a lease like a confession. If he said urgent, I didn't ignore it. I opened the message. Arden, I need to see you in person. It's about Daniel. Call me as soon as possible. My stomach dropped. I called him immediately. He answered on the first ring. I'm already on my way, he said. Don't freak out. Nathan, I said. That's exactly what people say before I start freaking out. 20 minutes later, his silver sedan pulled up out front. I met him at the door, still in my robe, coffee in hand. His expression told me everything before he spoke. Grim, reluctant, heavy with something he wished he didn't have to deliver. Tell me, I said. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Your brother's been shopping your properties to investors, claiming he's your power of attorney. The words hit like a punch. What? He's pitching to developers, Nathan continued. Told one of my clients you're mentally unstable and that he's stepping in to manage your assets before you tank the portfolio. I went cold all over. My brother had tried to open a fraudulent loan under my name, and now he was pretending to be my legal representative. He's lost his mind, I whispered. Maybe, Nathan said, but he's convincing. He's got some forged documents. My client showed me a copy of a letter with your fake signature. I stopped the deal before it went anywhere. My fingers tightened around the mug until it creaked. He's not just desperate, he's dangerous. Nathan nodded. I thought you'd want to know before someone else bites. I forced myself to think, not react. Did your client tell you who he's talking to? Yeah, he said. Some developer from Memphis. Name's Kruger. Shady reputation. He's promised your brother fast cash if he can prove control. Control, I repeated, the word tasting like rust. He's trying to erase me. Nathan leaned forward. He's banking on you not fighting back. I met his gaze. Then he's about to lose that bet. After he left, I called Jennifer, my lawyer. Her voice was steady, efficient, the same voice that had guided me through every contract I'd ever signed. Jennifer, I need you to verify something, I said. Has anyone filed documents under my name in the last month? She clicked through her system while I waited. I could hear the faint tap of her keyboard, each sound like a countdown. Nothing official, she said finally. But give me a few hours. I'll dig deeper. Please do. And Jennifer, lock everything down. Titles, deeds, everything. Already on it, she said. The rest of the day blurred. I tried to work, but my mind kept replaying Nathan's words. Mentally unstable. That was what Daniel was selling. To strangers. About me. By evening, Jennifer's number flashed on my phone again. I found something, she said. It's not about Daniel. It's about your grandmother. My grandmother? I sat up. Lila? Yes. You remember the inheritance that started your business? Of course. Well, Jennifer said, I was combing through old estate documents to verify your ownership chain. Turns out there's another trust, one you were never told about. I blinked. Another trust? It's called the Lila Vale Independence Fund. It was set up with a condition. You can only access it once you're financially and legally independent of your family. No shared accounts, no financial ties, no support given or received. I went still. How much? $500,000, she said. And given everything you've done recently, ending rent discounts, cutting financial links, you meet the condition. It's yours. $500,000. My grandmother had predicted this, written a safety net that only opened once I broke free. The timing was eerie, almost surgical. Jennifer continued. She must have seen what was coming, Arden. The fund's locked airtight. No one can contest it, not even your father. For a moment I couldn't speak, then, start the claim process. Immediately. I'll prepare the paperwork tonight, she said. When the call ended, I just sat there, staring out at the storm clouds building over Jackson. It wasn't just a trust fund, it was a message. From a woman who'd spent her life watching her family repeat the same cycles of control and resentment. She'd built a door and waited for me to be brave enough to walk through it. Owen came home late, smelling like gasoline and rain. I told him everything. He listened, quiet but unflinching. So, he said finally, your brother's trying to steal your empire, and your grandmother left you a hidden fortune to walk away from all of them? Pretty much. He leaned back, a slow smile ghosting over his face. You realize what this means, right? I nodded. They can't touch me anymore. He reached across the table and took my hand. Then don't let them. The thunder rolled outside like applause. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel cornered. I felt armed. Somewhere out there, my brother was still pretending to hold my power of attorney. He thought he had leverage. By tomorrow, I'd show him who really held the power. The next morning broke clear and cool, the kind of rare October light that makes even tired things look new. I sat by the kitchen window, watching the steam curl from my coffee and thinking of her, Grandma Lila, the woman who'd believed in me before anyone else, who used to say, "One day they'll see you don't need saving. You'll prove it by walking away." Her voice echoed now, stronger than the bitterness still hanging in the air. By mid-morning, Jennifer called again. "The paperwork's filed," she said. "The funds will clear within 72 hours. $500,000, I repeated, still not believing it. "It's poetic," she said. "She built you an escape hatch disguised as a reward." After the call, I opened my grandmother's old photo album. Creases, yellowed corners, the smell of lilac lotion still faint. There she was in every picture, arms crossed, smile half-wicked, standing in front of the duplex she'd bought with her teacher's pension. That was the first property in our family, the one that started it all. She'd given me her inheritance to build a life. The rest of them just saw her as a bank that had run dry. I realized then that she must have seen it too, the greed, the entitlement. She hadn't trusted them to treat me fairly, so she'd planted this secret trust like a buried lifeline, waiting for the moment I'd finally stop trying to fix them. That moment was now. When Owen came home from the shop, I told him the transfer was official. He poured 2 cups of coffee and sat across from me, his work shirt still smelling faintly of oil and metal. "So what will you do with it?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. "For once, I don't have to decide for everyone else." He smiled. "Feels good, doesn't it?" "It feels quiet," I said, "like standing on ground that finally belongs to me." That night, I took a long walk through downtown Jackson. The air was cool, sharp, alive with distant traffic. My phone buzzed constantly in my pocket. My brother, my mother, my aunt, all trying again. I didn't answer. I didn't even read the messages. When I reached the corner near the old courthouse, I stopped at a bench under a flickering streetlight. That's where Grandma Lila used to sit on Saturday mornings, drinking sweet tea from a paper cup, pretending to read the paper while eavesdropping on everyone. She used to tell me, "People will tell you who they are if you stop rescuing them long enough to listen." She'd been right about everything. The next day, Jennifer sent the confirmation email. The trust had cleared. My account reflected the deposit. Real, solid numbers. $500,000. Not a lifeline, not a handout. A reward for cutting the ropes that had been strangling me. I sat in the office with Owen later that afternoon, running my fingers along the edge of the desk. "It's strange," I said. "I thought I'd feel triumphant, but it's not that." "What is it then?" he asked. "Peace," I said, "like breathing without asking permission." He nodded. "That's the sound of freedom." We worked quietly for a while, the hum of the old ceiling fan filling the space. Outside, kids were walking home from school, their laughter rising and fading. At sunset, I drove to my grandmother's grave. The grass was long, untidy. She'd have hated that. I knelt, brushing leaves from the headstone. "You really did think of everything, didn't you?" I whispered. For a long time, I just sat there, tracing her name with my thumb. "They think I'm heartless," I said. "But you'd understand. You always did." The wind moved softly through the trees, and I swear for a moment it smelled like her lilac perfume. When I got home, Owen was waiting on the porch, 2 cups of hot cocoa in hand. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I think I'm finally done being angry." He handed me the mug, warm and steady. "You know what I love about you?" he asked. I smiled. "That I can change locks and file lawsuits before breakfast?" "That too," he said, grinning. "But mostly that you don't stay broken. You rebuild." I leaned against him, watching the last light fade behind the rooftops. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was rebirth. The trust fund wasn't just money. It was validation. Proof that strength doesn't come from fighting for their love. It comes from refusing to beg for it. I thought of the version of myself who once waited by her phone, hoping for their calls, craving their approval. I didn't mourn her. I thanked her for getting me here. When we went inside, I opened a blank notebook and wrote 1 sentence on the first page. "Use it to build something better." It wasn't a promise of revenge. It was a promise of purpose. A month later, Jackson's air had turned crisp, the kind that carried wood smoke and second chances. I'd stopped checking my phone first thing in the morning. The silence had become its own kind of peace. Word of my family's downfall traveled quietly through the same gossip channels they once used to brag. My father's empire had crumbled without my rent discounts. He'd picked up part-time shifts driving for a rideshare company. My mother, who once scoffed at people who worked registers, had taken a job at a grocery store on the east side. My brother's consulting firm was gone, his office now a vape shop in the strip mall I'd sold. Even Aunt Margaret, the self-appointed matriarch, was renting a cramped studio with peeling wallpaper and a leaky sink. I didn't smile when I heard it. I didn't gloat. I just felt quiet. The kind of quiet that follows a storm after you've survived it. Owen and I had used the trust fund to start something new, Vale Properties, a company built on fairness, not favoritism. We focused on affordable housing, real renovation, the kind of work that made life easier for people who didn't have family safety nets. On our first day, standing in our tiny downtown office, Owen handed me the business license like it was a crown. "You realize," he said, "this is your grandmother's dream, just in a different shape." I nodded, running my hand over the embossed letters. Vale Properties, LLC. It looked ordinary on paper, but it carried years of blood, betrayal, and hard-earned peace. Nathan helped us land our first investment partner, and Jennifer handled the contracts with surgical precision. For the first time, every signature, every clause, every dollar had my name on it alone. No shared ownership, no family claims. One evening, as we toured a rundown duplex we'd just bought, Owen paused in the middle of a room stripped to studs. "Crazy, isn't it?" he said. "You could have spent that trust fund on comfort. Instead, you're rebuilding walls." I smiled. "Comfort's overrated. I'd rather build something that lasts." He wrapped his arm around me. "You already are." Later that week, I got a message from my brother. Just one line. "I lost everything. Hope you're happy." I stared at it for a long time, then deleted it. Happiness had nothing to do with it. Accountability did. My mother tried next. "Your father isn't well. Maybe you could help. Just this once." I typed and erased several replies before sending just one. "I hope he recovers. Take care." No venom, no guilt, just distance. And then, for the first time, no response came back. The silence that followed was clean, absolute, freeing. Weeks passed. Vale Properties started to grow, slowly, steadily. The first renovated unit went to a single mother with 2 kids, her face lighting up when she turned the new key in the door. Watching that moment, something in me softened. I realized I hadn't built this company to prove anything to my family. I'd built it to prove something to myself, that I could create without owing, give without losing, exist without permission. At night, the office glowed with soft lamplight. Owen and I would work late, laughing over takeout, our plans spilling onto whiteboards and napkins. He called it our second life. I called it finally mine. One evening, as I locked up, I caught my reflection in the glass door, calmer, older, unafraid. Behind me, the new logo shimmered in gold lettering. Vale Properties, built on boundaries. The words made me laugh, but they were true. Every brick, every lease, every quiet choice that led here was built on a boundary I'd once been too afraid to draw. Outside, Jackson hummed softly, streetlights flickering, the smell of barbecue from a nearby diner, the world carrying on. I slipped my hands into my coat pockets and took a deep breath. People say blood is thicker than water. They never mention that both can drown you if you stop swimming. For years, I mistook control for love and silence for peace, but love doesn't demand sacrifice to prove itself, and peace doesn't come from pleasing everyone else. I'd lost a family, but I'd found something harder to earn, self-respect. At home that night, Owen was waiting with 2 glasses of wine. "To new beginnings?" he asked. "To boundaries," I said, raising mine. We clinked glasses. The sound was small, but it carried, like a note that finally resolved. Before bed, I opened my journal and wrote a single line under the one I'd written weeks ago. I built something better, and I became someone stronger. Outside, the wind rustled the trees, gentle and unthreatening. I turned off my phone, the house quiet, the air warm. The world felt steady again. No fireworks, no applause, just calm. And for the first time in my life, calm was enough.